Hello, this is D and I'm back with another video. Well, today I have some pretty good news. I got some bad news, but it's mostly good news. Now let's start off with 343 Industries. Now they are reporting on the actual build date from the game show event showcase. Now when we saw Halo Infinite at that event, I have to say myself and many gamers included were very disappointed on the visual fidelity that Halo Infinite brought. Now apparently 343 Industries is looking at the community feedback and they actually have an official response over at HaloWaypoint.com. Now, like usual, I'll link it in the description down below. Now, they go on to say that they are acknowledging what the community is saying about the game, that they have seen and heard the assessment from Digital Foundry, and that in many ways they are in agreement. They say that they do have work to do to address some of the areas and raise a level of fidelity and overall presentation for the final build of the game. The build that they used to run the campaign demo on was a work in progress from several weeks ago, with a variety of graphical elements and game systems still being finished and polished. While some of the feedback was expected and speaks to areas already in progress, other aspects of the feedback have brought new opportunities and considerations to light of the team in taking it very seriously and working to assess. Now, that's good that they're looking at all the feedback from the community and that they will improve upon the game. The fact that it was a 2-week-old build is kind of troublesome. I have to say there's not too much they can do in the next 3 months opposed to what we saw on the game. Now we know that ray tracing will make the visuals look better. They can improve the lighting, some of the textures, but the overall look of the game isn't going to change too much from now to launch. Now in my last video I reported on Review Tech USA as they said that a Microsoft Game Studio employee had told them that the build was 4 months old. Now we're getting official confirmation from 343 Industries that the build in fact was just 2 weeks old, and like I said, I just don't see them making too many changes to this game going forward. Now they do say that the progress that they've made since this build, that there are improvements, so I do expect the game to look better than we did see at the last outing. However, like I stated, I don't think we're going to see a huge jump, and I have to be honest with you guys, this is a big letdown as I was really expecting Halo Infinite to really take advantage of the Xbox Series X. Now the gameplay looks sound and that's never been a problem with Halo, but I just gotta be truthful here. The visual fidelity is not what I expected of Halo Infinite running on the Xbox Series X. Now I do have some good news regarding Halo Infinite, and this is coming courtesy of WCCFtech.com. Like usual, I'll link it in the description down below. Now they are reporting that Halo Infinite will run up to 120 frames per second on the Xbox Series X. The Halo games, they all play well. They're very fluid. 60 frames per second, that game is fantastic. 120 frames per second will make that game silky smooth. Now, I'm not quite sure if this will be at a native 4K resolution. I wouldn't completely rule it out, to be quite honest with you guys, because what I've seen so far from Halo Infinite isn't really pushing the graphical boundaries, so I think it might be possible that we could get 4K 120 frames per second. If not, we'll get a dynamic 4K resolution running that game at 120 frames per second. I think at the very least that's the mode that game will offer for such a high frame rate. Now they're also reporting that Halo Infinite will take a warlike approach on its multiplayer game and offer it as a free-to-play. Now this is huge news. Now Halo Infinite will have a huge player base. Halo's multiplayer is second to none. It has a large and loyal fan base, and if this game becomes a free-to-play, I can see the player base increasing tremendously. Millions and millions of players would download Halo Infinite to play its multiplayer component, and I think it could be a phenomenon once again, something similar to Fortnite or what Call of Duty is experiencing with Warzone. Now this leads me to my last story, and this is coming from Jeff Grubb over at VentureBeat.com. I'll also link it in the description down below. Now he goes on to say that free-to-play Halo multiplayer only makes sense if Xbox Live Gold barrier goes away, at least for free games. Now on Sony's platform, if you don't have PSN and the game is free to play and has a multiplayer component, you can play that game, whereas on Microsoft system, if you do not have Xbox Live, even if the game is free to play, you cannot play their multiplayer component. Now this is where we get the breaking news of the day, as Jeff Grubb also confirms that Xbox Live Gold is in fact going away and playing online multiplayer will be free, that they will not force you into Game Pass Ultimate in order to play online. Now I have to say, this is a long time coming. Now Xbox gamers have been disgruntled for quite some time that their PC counterparts are not required to have Xbox Live in order to play Microsoft's multiplayer game. games. Now, if Microsoft gets rid of Xbox Live as a paid subscription, where does this place Sony? Will they also have to get rid of their charge for PSN? Now, I know with Microsoft, they can at least offset some of that loss with their Game Pass subscriptions. I don't really know what Sony's plans are, and I don't quite know if they'll actually get rid of the PSN service if Microsoft confirms that Xbox Live will no longer require a subscription. Anyways, it's a really interesting topic. I want to know what you guys think about this, as well as 343 Industries announcing that their build was only 2 weeks old. How many improvements do you think the game will get from now until it launches? As well, what are your thoughts on Halo's multiplayer being absolutely free to play? Let me know in the comment section down below. And like I usually say, please like, share, subscribe to the channel, and I'll see you guys on the next one.